welcome back to Bochiknot and Bochiknot.com. My name is Nicole and this is OG. In this channel you will find everything you need to know to begin macrame, whether you are looking to do it as a hobby or you want to get to a more advanced level so that you can create your own designs. You will find everything macrame right here. In today's tutorial, we'll be going over 3 different ways to start and end a macrame bracelet. I remember when I was really young, I used to make friendship bracelets all the time, and little did I know I was making double half-inch knots. And so macrame bracelets are very popular, and depending on what kind of style you like, there are many different variations and designs that you can come up with. I will be showing you 3 different ways to start and end a bracelet using 3 different types of cord. You don't typically use the cord that we use to make wall hangings to make bracelets from, and that's because you usually would need a thinner cord to make bracelets, but depending on the type of bracelet you want to make, that can vary as well, so it's really up to you. There are many different types of cord out there for you to try, so I'm curious to see what your favorite one is to make macrame bracelets from. And if you do know what your favorite is, let me know in the comment section below. I did also make 3 different macrame bracelet patterns, and if you want to see the step-by-step tutorial on that, you can check out my Patreon site, and I'll post a link of that in the description below. As always, if you guys have any questions or anything specific you want to learn related to macrame, please let me know in the comment section below. And with that, let's begin.
The first type of cord I'm going to go through here is a wax cotton cord. It is more solid and tough compared to other cords you would normally use for bracelets. And so it's not usually used for very intricate designs, but it is good for using to make bracelets if you're thinking of adding beads. So the first way I'm going to show you today on how to start and end a macrame bracelet is by making vertical lark's head knots onto the anchor cord and then forming a loop with that, so that at the end of the bracelet we can put a button or bead for the bracelet closure. Here I will show you how to start that bracelet off by using 2 cords. You can use multiples of 2 if you would like and do the same thing, or you can start with 2 cords with the working cord as the longer cord, because the design that I'm going to make today will only require the 2 working cords. So the 2 middle cords, so I'm talking about the 2 in the middle once the cord is folded in half, will stay as the anchor cords. So starting off here, taking the working cord, which is the outer cord, I'm going to start making a row of vertical lark's head knots. And if I didn't mention this already, you would need to start making these vertical lark's head knots in the middle of the 2 cords. I've made about 6 or 7 lark's head knots now, And so now I'm going to test it with a bead that I plan on using at the end of the bracelet for the bracelet closure. So how I'm going to test it is I'm going to fold the loop part in half, and then I'm going to take the bead, or if you're using a button, and then I'm going to try to pull it through to see if it will fit. Because mine is a little tight, I am going to make one more lark's head knot to make the loop a little bigger. Once you have tested it and it fits, we're going to seal the loop with a square knot. So taking the two outer cords, we're going to use those as the working cords to make a square knot. And this is one way to start a macrame bracelet. We're going to jump to the end now and show you guys how to close the bracelet off. Once you have gotten to the end, we're going to take the bead or the button that you have planned to use to close the bracelet off, and we're going to attach it here to the bracelet. So taking the bead, I'm going to weave it through the middle two cords, weaving the left cord through the left side and the right cord through the right side. You can do this with the outer cords too, but since my middle two cords here are longer, I'm going to put the middle two cords in. Once you have done that, we're going to now seal it off with a square knot with those two outer cords as the anchor cords now, and then the two cords coming out of the bead, we're going to use those as the working cords to make the square knot. Make a few more square knots if you like, just to secure the bead or button. The last step is to cut off the excess cord and then seal the end of the square knot and seal the end of the last square knot with glue or with nail polish. If you are using wax cord that is more wax than the ones that I have here. Even though I'm using wax cotton cord, it doesn't light up and stick very well. But if you're using a cord that has more wax on it, then you can use a lighter and light the ends so that you can seal the cords at the end. And this is one way to start and end a macrame bracelet. The second way to start and end a bracelet is to make a sliding closure. And so I have 4 cords here that I'm going to do it with. And before I start my pattern, I'm going to take the cords a few inches down and then make an overhand knot. I am using hemp cord here, so it is softer than the last cord that we had used. I'm going to come back to the excess cords here at the start, at the very end. Now you can do whatever pattern you like, and then we'll jump to the end when we close the bracelet off. Once we get to the end of the pattern, we are going to close it off. And if you guys are interested in the pattern bracelet that I made here, you can check that out on my Patreon website, and I'll post a link to that in the description below. So to close off the pattern, we're going to make another overhand knot here, just so it mirrors the start of the pattern. Once that is done, we're going to make another 2 overhand knots at each end of the loose cords. Because we are making a sliding closure, these overhand knots at the very end will prevent the set of knots that we're going to make next, which will be the part in the middle holding the 2 ends together and prevent the middle part from sliding off. We are now going to fold the 2 ends over each other and make a few knots, in particularly a few square knots in the center, using the cords here in the middle as anchor cords. What I did was I cut off the excess strands of cords here, and then I used one of them that's about 20 centimeters long and used that to make 3 square knots in the middle. Once that is done, we're going to seal this middle part off by making a double overhand knot in the back side. Because I'm using a hemp cord here, it is softer than the wax cord that I used earlier, so you can seal it off here with a double overhand knot without it being too noticeable. You could also alternatively glue the ends here to the back of it. And here you go. We are now complete with the second way to start and end a macrame bracelet. The last way to start and end a macrame bracelet that I'm going to show you today is to make a ball knot on one end and then make a loop on the finishing end. So starting with one end, about 30 centimeters in, we're going to make a few loops to make the ball knot. I am using a satiny decorative cord here. It is also called Chinese knotting cord, and it has a nice shiny and smooth touch to it, although it's not the best for macrame since it doesn't hold the knots very well. It does make really beautiful designs. Once that is done, we're going to pull the ends of the cords to tighten the ball knot. You can keep sliding the cords so that the ball knot moves towards the end. Then cut the excess string at the end, and we're going to seal the ball knot with either some glue or some nail polish. I couldn't find any clear nail polish, so I decided to use a color that was similar to this string I have here. So for this bracelet, we're going to make the start and the end of the bracelet simultaneously. And so now we're going to measure out the size of the bracelet you want to make, and that is where the loop is going to be before you start making the pattern on the bracelet. Once you have figured out the length of the bracelet you want, we're going to seal that loop with a knot. You want to make the size just big enough to fit the ball knot through. And now you can start your pattern for your bracelet. You can make several patterns here. You can add another strand of cord and start making square knots or half knots. It is up to you, whatever design you would like. Once you have finished your pattern or design, to seal the bracelet, all you have to do is just cut off the excess string and then glue the ends onto the bracelet. And voila! That is the third way to start and end a bracelet. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial, and as I said before, if you guys are interested in the 3 bracelet patterns I showed you today, then please check out my Patreon. There you will find my step-by-step tutorials on how to make these cute, easy patterns. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.